Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. First of all, I want to thank you guys so much for the support recently, especially on the sample packs. You guys have been showing me mad love on Instagram too. The beats you guys are making with my samples sound crazy. I love hearing all the beats you guys make, so make sure you guys keep sending me the beats on my Instagram. If you're posting on your stories, make sure to tag me and I'll repost it as well. And if you guys still haven't checked out the sample packs, they're completely free. Just make sure you use the first link down below and go crazy like always. But since you guys actually love the guitar samples I have in the packs, I thought I might as well show you guys some secrets to my guitar samples so you guys can actually learn how to make your own guitar samples as well. So I'll definitely toss in some tricks that I keep using in my guitar samples. So it's definitely going to be some super nice tricks, especially for guitar. So make sure you guys stick to the end of the video to hear the full sample and to see all the tricks you guys can implement yourselves. So let's head over to FL Studio and we'll start on the sample. So to start off with, I'm using this Sketch nylon guitar in contact, and there's actually a super nice trick with this guitar which I'm going to show you guys later, so make sure you guys stick around for that one. But this guitar actually sounds super nice by itself, and there are also some crazy tricks you guys can do with this. So to start off with, I'm going to go for a BPM about 135, and for the key for this one I might as well go with C sharp minor. So the first secret for the guitar samples definitely comes in for the first pattern right here. So the way you want to go about your patterns is to make them a bit simple so they're catchy, but definitely don't make them too repetitive. So what you guys want to do when it comes to guitar samples is you definitely want to make the chords like this, but the way we're going to switch this up is actually by inverting this middle note, and instead of having the E up here, you just want to pitch it down by one semitone. And then since it's a guitar, you definitely want to strum out the notes a bit. Now another cool trick you guys definitely should be doing when you're making guitar samples is actually, if you look down here on the velocity, I always make my guitar samples in like a very low velocity. And the reason for this, guys, is actually because you want to have your velocity a bit low, since you're actually later going to boost the volume with different effects and amps on the guitar. So if you would have the velocity up here and then boost them with the effects later, it would just sound too muddy and it would be too high. So it's better to have the notes playing a bit softer, and it's going to sound a bit more realistic as well, since when people are actually playing real guitar, they're not just like strumming like crazy, but they're gentle with their movements. Think of it like you're actually playing a real guitar. So I'm going to start off with this, then I'm just going to extend this, and since I'm going for a bit of a darker vibe, I definitely want to focus on these half steps right here. So then we can pick this up to the E. Now we can just copy this over, but we want to switch some of the notes on this second part right here. So we're going to try adding some notes down here. And also I'm actually just going to copy the root note on this C sharp right here, pitch it up by 1 octave. But instead of having a hit right here, I'm just going to hold Alt on my keyboard, move it slightly to the side, and that's going to make this nice strum effect. So this sounds super fire. Now I'm just going to see if I can add some higher notes here and there, just to see if we can add some bounce to this. So I'm pretty happy with this pattern right here. Now to make it sound a bit smoother, we're actually just going to extend these notes so they fit a bit better together. So now we actually have them a bit extended as well. Next thing we want to do is actually just copy this over and pitch it down by 5 semitones like this. Then we actually also want to extend some of these notes right here. And we also want to add some top notes on the start of this second part, just so we can make the transition between this first and second part a bit smoother in the sample. Yeah, that's perfect. So now before I put the effects on the guitar, I'm actually going to show you guys a super cool trick you guys can do with this Sketch nylon guitar we're using right now. So if I actually go on these higher notes right here, I think it's from C8 and up. It's actually from C8 and down. You can hear the guitar actually has a lot of percussion and real sounding sounds. So especially this A sharp 7 right here, it has a very nice like pull off type of effect. So I'm actually going to use this slap bone where the clap hits. But not on every single one, we're just going to do it on these two. Then I love these two right here, so we can maybe add them around here somewhere. That's perfect. So you can hear these sounds actually add a lot to the sample. But now the guitar still sounds a bit dry, so we definitely want to add some effects to it. So to start off with, I'm actually just adding some roam right here. About 22% should be nice. The next thing I like adding is some RC20, usually just using the Vinyl 2 preset right here. Turn the follow up a bit. Turn the wobble to stereo, and it's going to give it a nice feel. Now a super cool trick for the effects is actually to add a crystallizer to the guitar. I usually just have it on standard settings, but I definitely turn down the wet or the mix knob a bit to about maybe like 18 to 20%. It's going to give it this nice reverse type of sounding effect. You can hear it's like some ear candy to the guitar. Now the last things I'm going to add to the guitar is actually just the imager to widen the sound a bit, some saturation just to give it a bit of color, and also some EQ just to cut out the lows, and so we can also boost a bit of the highs so we can get back some of the sound we lost from the low velocity. Alright, so the next thing I want to add is definitely like a vocal we can have in the background. It's actually not going to be a vocal that's going to differentiate too much from the guitar. It's going to act more like a pad, so we can just have it in the background. It's going to fill out the sample a bit more. So you guys know when it comes to vocals, I pretty much always go for arcade. I'm just going to try this Distant Voices bank right here and see if we can find something that sounds nice. So that vocal right there I think is pretty much good. Now the secret to make this go in the background is actually on the effects. So to start off with, we're just going to drown it a bit in reverb. Just add a lot, like 41% on this roam right here. Then you just want to go to this EQ right here and turn the lows down a bit, or a lot actually, just so we can have it a bit in the background, as you can hear. Now I'm actually going to put a sound shifter on the master and turn the sample down a bit by maybe 3 semitones. Just so I can catch a different vibe to the sample. Now I definitely want to add a counter guitar to the main guitar we already have. And for that one, I'm actually going to open up this picked nylon guitar in Contact. So we're going to use a different guitar, but I'm actually going to go into this song browser section, go to the Latin one right here and try to find a preset that sounds pretty nice. So I'm going to go with this Latin bounce and see how that sounds. That guitar right there is actually just routed to the same effects that the first guitar had, but it just adds some movement and some power to the guitar we already had. Now the next sound I'm going to add is actually just a one shot. So I'm actually just going to use this one shot I found right here, and if you just hit this reverse button right here, then go to the wrench tool and hit cut self, then just make an envelope like a square, you're going to have this super nice reverse type of sound. It definitely sounds crazy once we put it together with the guitar. So we're just going to lay it on each root note we have in the main guitar. Then I just want to add a lot of reverb and some EQ. And that's actually also going to add some movement to the sample. Now, since the guitar pattern is pretty stale and slow moving, we definitely want to add more elements that have a lot of movement to them, so we can basically contrast between them. That's a super nice secret to nice sounding guitar samples. Now I'm just gonna add this jungle texture right here, stretch it to time. Push down the sample a bit more. Maybe we can add a bass to this too. Just gonna go to my drum kit and use this sub bass. So this is actually how the final sample turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really hope you guys learned something new. And remember guys, if you want to check out my sample pack, drum kits and so on, just make sure you go to my website. It's BBMarko.com. The link is obviously down below. Besides that, I thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time.